Welcome to the Black Liberation.Tech podcast, brought to you by Jordan Nuance LLC and hosted by Dr. Renée Jordan. This podcast is a accumulation of Dr. Jordan's dissertation work and her passion for empowering Latinas, Afro-Latinas, Black women, and girls to navigate the academic and professional worlds with confidence and success. Whether you're a mother or a guardian guiding a child through grades 6 through 12, an undergrad or grad student, someone working on a dissertation or thesis, or simply looking to carve out your niche in the career landscape, this podcast is for you. Each episode, Dr. Jordan shares her story, offers invaluable advice, and provides practical coaching to help you thrive in school, work, and beyond. Join our community on patreon.com/Black Liberation Tech and become a member for as low as $5 per month. As a member, you'll gain exclusive access to live recordings, impromptu academic and career coaching, and a network of like-minded individuals committed to mutual support and success. You're also welcome to follow Black Liberation Tech on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and LinkedIn. Visit black-liberation.tech for even more information on Dr. Jordan's adventure in Inglés o Español. Tune in, get inspired, and let's embark on this journey together. Welcome to Black Liberation.Tech, where your success story begins. Think about how you can be flexible in order to make the most out of the time you have left in your program, as well as any deadlines that you need to keep in mind as you move forward. There's deadlines as it relates to IRB proposals. There's going to be deadlines as it relates to the time in which you'll have to collect data. There's going to be deadlines that you need to create in order to work on your dissertation and to communicate your progress with your committee so that they know that you are moving at a pace that will set you up for success. Don't be afraid to experiment and don't hold back when you feel a new idea calling you. Embrace the unknown with curiosity. Here are a few questions that I want you to think about. How have you had to adapt or be flexible in your own work or life recently? What was the outcome of that flexibility? What methodologies or frameworks have you explored in your research or projects that were unexpected but enriching? How do you approach the balance between sticking to a plan and being open to experiment or change? Feel free to leave your comments in the place where comments can go on the blackliberation.tech social media pages. This next segment will provide you with a little bit more information as it relates to the dissertation process. Now, when you are working on your dissertation, it's important to set actionable goals. Start with the end in mind. Think about how long you have until you graduate. Now, for me, I took 7 years. My initial goal was to get it done in 4. But as I did the work of research and I presented the work related to my graduate research assistantship, and as I attended the dissertation prospectus of others, reality began to set in that I still had work to do. So after 3 years of working on my thoughts as it related to my final project and completing my comprehensive exams and coming up with a plan as it related to what I wanted to do with my project, it all changed. Why? The COVID-19 pandemic hit, and as a result, I no longer wanted to push the issue of an after-school program for my dissertation project. Instead of exploring how students used, enhanced, and developed their technology skills and digital literacies in the after-school program, I jumped ahead to the adults, and I interviewed them, and I also asked for artifacts that allowed me to explore how they went about learning and enhancing their technology skills and digital literacies. So, because I had worked so diligently on my previous project during my comprehensive exams, I was able to turn it on its head and do it from a different angle and still hit all the major points that I was interested in, but from the standpoint of collecting retroactive data. So having the participants to reflect and share with me how they went about learning technology and using their digital literacies. So the timeline also allowed me to move a little faster. I gave myself over the summer to work on collecting data as well as transcribing that data to get back to my participants so that they can review it and let me know if there were any corrections. Not only did I give them access to the transcripts, I also asked for clarity when it came to specific instances when they were naming individuals who were references, if you will, or points of reference, when they were naming organizations, as well as naming any technology tools or platforms that I was not familiar with to make sure that I got it right. Now, the reason it's important to note that I did that in 8 weeks, it's because at the end of 8 weeks, I needed to be able to move on and not have to go back and forth with the participants to make sure that I had everything right. I needed to set it and make it a priority. So it would have been bad if I did not check the transcripts before starting my coding process. Oh my goodness. That would have been terrible. Because can you imagine? I was coding all the way up until at least February, if not later, of 2022. And I collected the data over the summer of 2021. Can you imagine trying to find a participant in February and ask them about what they said over the summer of the year before? That is too far of a gap. Now, would it be possible? Yes. But would it have been fresh on their mind? Would they have the time? I already gave them the time period in which I said that I would be in communication with them, and they were kind enough to volunteer to participate in my research project. I needed to make sure that I had everything down packed when it came to engaging with them so that when I said, "Thank you for your participation. I'll share with you my final manuscript once it's done," that was the next time that they were going to hear from me and not having to go back to, by the way, do you remember when we interviewed back in July? Could you please tell me if this is the correct name of that university that you indicated in your interview? That would not be a good look professionally, and it also would not be a good look in terms of me having to revisit something with someone that I said that I was already done talking to for the moment. So those actionable goals could be: when do you need to have your data collected? When do you need to have your transcripts cleaned and returned for feedback if you're going to provide them with feedback? Keep in mind, anything that you do with the data, you need to make sure is included in your IRB proposal. So in my IRB proposal, I did include the fact that I would be reaching back out to participants so that they could have a chance to review the transcript and provide any edits or corrections. And then I would take those edits and corrections and include them as a part of my data so that I could see where the changes took place. So instead of just deleting something that I wrote initially, it would have a single line through it, a single strike through it, with the correction, so that when I went to code it, I would have the correct information in place when coding. Other deadlines and goals that you need to set would be draft submissions to your chair and co-chair. You need to make sure that you have a general understanding as it relates to how your committee members will provide you with feedback. I've said it before, I was able to do short presentations, 10 slides at a time, with with my department chair, who served as a co-chair on my committee. And I was also able to do short presentations with my off-campus committee member. My off-campus committee member was someone who was familiar with the African philosophy Ubuntu that I was using firsthand, and he also specialized in instructional design and instructional technology as it related to culture-specific design. And so he was able to add his expertise to my committee. At the time, we did not have anyone in my department who specialized specifically in that African philosophy, as well as instructional design and instructional technology as it related to culture-specific design. My methodologist, who was my qualitative research professor and co-chair of my committee, also had expertise in the African philosophy as well as qualitative research. And so she was able to bring those expertise to add to my committee. With my research methodologist, I was able to meet with her and go over short stints of my dissertation, both the proposal and the actual dissertation, so that she could review the text and give me feedback, and then I would also do the short presentations with her so she could see how I was approaching my study and my progress. Now, my last committee member, he specialized in Black education and specifically special education. And so instead of doing short presentations with him and going over drafts of my proposal and dissertation, he actually waited until I submitted the completed final document for the committee's review before my defenses in order to provide me feedback during the questioning time and providing other additional questions to my chair to provide to me for corrections and consideration. Thank you for tuning in to the BlackLiberation.Tech podcast, brought to you by Jordan Nuance LLC and hosted by Dr. Renée Jordan. We hope today's episode has inspired you and provided valuable insights to help you navigate your academic and professional journey with confidence and success. Remember to like, subscribe, and share, as well as rate and review the podcast to help it become more discoverable. Whether you're guiding a child through grades 6 through 12, tackling undergraduate or graduate studies, working on a dissertation or thesis, or exploring your career options, this podcast is here to support you every step of the way. Join our community on patreon.com/BlackLiberationTech and become a member for as low as $5 per month. As a member, you'll enjoy exclusive access to live recordings, impromptu academic and career coaching, and a network of like-minded individuals committed to mutual support and success. Don't forget to follow Black Liberation Tech on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and LinkedIn. Visit black-liberation.tech for even more information on Dr. Jordan's adventures, available in both English and Spanish. Stay inspired, stay empowered, and keep moving forward. Until next time, take care. Bye-bye.